He was a sculptor of shape, a painter of color, an architect of design. Join Spencer Christian on a journey to Spain to discover the inspiration behind Balenciaga, Spanish master of design.
This is Madrid, Spain, the center of Spanish art, culture, and history. Madrid was also home to one of the world's most celebrated fashion designers, Cristobal Balenciaga. I'm Spencer Christian. Join me now for an inside look at the life and the designs of Balenciaga.
Balenciaga was born in 1895 in a little sort of medieval fishing town of Getaria on the Basque coast of Spain.
He came from humble origins, yet he ascended to the very top of the fashion world.
Christian Dior called Balenciaga the master of us all. And I think that this is really a reference to his technical mastery, the fact that he could physically craft himself from beginning to end.
When Balenciaga was only 11 years old, his father died. Yet this tragic loss turned out to be the catalyst for Balenciaga's remarkable career.
His mother, to whom he was devoted, became jobbing seamstress, doing kind of sort of simple dressmaking for the local families. One of her clients were the Cazatores family. The Marquesa de Cazatores was a kind of glamorous local aristocrat. He saw the Marquesa dressed for mass, very beautifully dressed in a Paris couture suit, and he sort of stopped her and sort of admired her elegance. I admire the way you dress, and I think I could make your suit. I could copy your suit for you. And the following week, he made the suit, I think with a little bit of help from his mother, which the Marquesa apparently wore to mass the following week. Anyway, she was clearly intrigued by this exceptional little boy, and she eventually helped him to obtain an apprenticeship with a tailor in San Sebastian, and that's where he began to learn his craft.
San Sebastian was the perfect place for Balenciaga. The city catered to the needs of Spain's aristocrats, and it was famous for its dressmaking establishments.
At the age of 22, established his first couture house under his own name in San Sebastian. His success was rapid in Spain, because by the age of 25 he was dressing the Queen of Spain, who would later consider him to have been the greatest dressmaker ever born.
With praise like this from the Queen, it should not be surprising that Balenciaga's designs were in high demand. His designs were dazzling and revolutionary. He soon expanded to include houses in Madrid and Barcelona.
A large part of his business was going to Paris, buying original models from the designers whom he most admired. He would buy the model and the rights to reproduce it, take with him the pattern, and then he'd reinterpret it for his clients in Spain. At the same time, he was working on his own creations.
Balenciaga opened his first Paris couture store in August 1937, during the Spanish Civil War. His success here in Paris was immediate.
He had access to the extraordinary technicians and the fournisseurs, the great suppliers, the great embroiderers, and all that Paris could bring to a fashion designer.
His designs were timeless, his style impeccable, his standards unparalleled.
Balenciaga's concept of dressing a woman was to do the very best for a woman. And I think that when that is your philosophy, and with great craftsmanship and with great knowledge of a woman's body and woman's life and woman's aspirations in life, it becomes an art form, you know?
He was a very talented person, but at the same time, he was very respected because of his moral integrity.
By 1940, Harper's Bazaar could make the extraordinary claim that you know, there wasn't a woman in the world who wasn't wearing something that was in some way inspired by Balenciaga.
Balenciaga's brilliant career continued to flourish, but shunning public attention, he remained a very private person.
The clients never saw him, in fact. He worked in this kind of intense way in a rather sort of monastic situation, surrounded by his little priestly group of assistants and associates.
But there was at least one notable exception.
My mother, she went after the war, say 1940s, and she wanted to have a dress, but they should make her special price because she was pregnant and she wasn't going to use that afterwards. So they said, no, madam, this is Balenciaga, we don't make special prices. And suddenly she saw Balenciaga just crossing a corridor. She jumped on him and she said, Mr. Balenciaga, just look at me. I want to have a dress made, but they don't want to make me a special price and I'm going not be able to wear this dress afterwards, so I want a special price. And he said, he just looked at her and he said, but I'm not to blame for it, am I? So she loved the answer, and after that they became very great friends. Really, we were very close with him. There, up there, is my granddaughter with my first communion dress. And he made my first communion gown. Wow. That's my first Balenciaga. I was 7. And this is my wedding dress, but it's my daughter wearing it. When I was going to be married, I was 18. He said, well, okay, I'm going to do the dress for you. I'm going to do it. So he himself cut and designed my wedding dress.
Balenciaga's commitment to rigorous work and detailed craftsmanship was evident throughout his career.
Any dress had to be perfectly constructed, and the pattern and the toile that was done, the amount of work and that he would devote until perfection was reached.
And that is where I learned my craft. I was very lucky that I was able to observe, see a great master at work.
We'll be back with more Balenciaga, Spanish Master of Design.